What is going on, everybody? It's Friday, 7:20 a.m., August 14th. Um, Lots to talk about, right? I'm going to cover Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some DeFi coins. And by the end of this video, you guys should have a good understanding of my strategy and plan that I've laid out. I've even explained this to you guys in my previous videos of how I see the market. Segmented into three different areas, one being strictly Bitcoin, the other being altcoins, which are the traditional altcoins, and the third being the segment within altcoins, which is DeFi. And I'm going to show you the correlation, the relationship that I personally see in the three. Okay, so let's first start off with Bitcoin so I can illustrate to you guys, first of all, exactly what's happening in the Bitcoin market. All right, first things first, we had this sell-off happen right around the same time as, and this is kind of important because it helps us see exactly the correlation of Bitcoin to traditional markets too. So this sell-off right here, all right, okay, this happened while gold was dumping too, all right? And on top of that, if you look at the DXY right here, okay, you can see that was around this time when the DXY started ticking up. So the correlation is simple when it comes to Bitcoin compared to traditional assets. Right now, in my opinion, Bitcoin should keep moving up as long as gold and equities move up, because I think Bitcoin is still largely dependent on the overall liquidity and strength that is available in the traditional markets. So if people feel like they can be in a risk-on mode with equities and gold, that means they can feel like they can be in a risk-on mode with Bitcoin. Risk-on meaning it's not an environment where they need to be protective of their capital. It's not a, I don't know, how would you say? It's not an environment where you feel like you need to be safer into bonds because the market is dumping, interest rates are high, etc. We're actually in the opposite of that environment, which is rates are actually really low, money's cheap, money's being printed, Fed is supporting the market, and so there's a couple things that happen. Equities go up, right, because money's cheap and the Fed is supporting the market. People feel comfortable investing in stocks, knowing that the Fed has their back in the traditional markets. And then gold is actually appreciating because money's so cheap, because the Fed is printing. Okay, so you have this kind of dynamic where the dollar is actually getting weaker, so it benefits things like gold and equities. However, at the same time, equities are actually going up because the Fed, the Federal Reserve, is putting a backstop on the market. And so same thing with Bitcoin, which is people feel comfortable investing in Bitcoin because they're in a risk-on mode. So let's dive in a little bit further, right? So Bitcoin is, obviously dumped right here as gold was pushing down over here, and then the dollar was ticking up. Now you can see the dollar, again, slightly breaking down, gold slightly ticking up, and then Bitcoin also ticking up, all right? The other correlation, sub-correlation to this is I often look for ETH to start breaking out of its range, okay, which was this area right here that it was stuck in. And I kept saying, once ETH starts breaking out above this $400 marker, it should start pushing higher. Like it should at least break past this high. And so that's kind of what happened. And when this happens, when ETH leads the market like this, well, Bitcoin is going to follow, okay? Now, Bitcoin broke out of its, local areas, local resistance levels, but it has not broken out of this key high right here, right? Because this was the key high that Bitcoin put in on August 1st, which was a high of like 12,150. And this was the high around the same time that ETH put in, which was around $415. Now notice ETH actually broke out and above that high marker. Bitcoin did not, okay? Personally, though, I think Bitcoin will follow. I don't see any reason why Bitcoin shouldn't follow, because ETH often, when it leads the market like that, Bitcoin is not too far behind. Okay, it might be a day apart. Sometimes it's a few hours, but in either case, there's a higher chance that it should follow. All right, so I do expect Bitcoin to start breaking out, breaking past 12,100. Once it gets past this high right here, 12,150 or so, then it's opened up its doors all the way to 13,000 and beyond. And the reason I say that is because if you get past this R1 right here, right, first of all, you'll probably get to the R2 because, the R1 is right around this area, which is this key high. So if you get past this R1, you'll probably get to the R2 because, if you're breaking out like this, like ETH did, as you can see, you should be getting to the R2. And my general rule of thumb when it comes to these pivots that you see used is generally once you start getting past the R2, generally, okay, not a hard and fast rule, you're probably going to get to that R5, all right, which is all the way around $14,200. And let's just say we don't even look at the pivots, right? Let's just say, all right, well, I don't care about the pivots. Let's just do a measured move. Okay, say this was, a big triangle that's developing, which technically it is. The measured move from this key high to this key low, you just put that on the point of the breakout. So say we break out, I don't know, later today, maybe even tomorrow, right? That puts us as a measured move of $13,600. Pretty significant target, right? And the other reason I say that we should be getting to, 13,000 or 14,000 is because of this key marker that I have mapped out, 13,920, okay? So if we go back on the daily perspective, that marker, you can see 13,920, it comes from this key high right here, which is on June 2019. So I don't really see why if we're getting past 12,000, right? I don't really see what would hold us up until $13,900. That's what I'm really trying to say. I guess you could make the argument that maybe we stop here at this resistance and maybe we stop here, but to be honest, I mean, I think we've cleared most of the hurdles, the most significant hurdles. Like for example, this consolidation bit right here, all right, the fact that we're doing that right here under this key marker that you see, in my opinion, is significant. And this key marker comes from, if we dig in closer in 2019, you can see that was previous resistance right there. We broke above, deviated, came back around, resistance right there, sold off. Again, resistance, right, sold off, pushed up above, deviation, and then sold off. So that's where that current marker that you see we're hitting comes from, way back from 2019. And so the fact that we're consolidating right under it, and we're continuously just grinding up, makes me feel a little bit confident that we're probably going to push up and break out. Now, again, we still need confirmation, but I'd say the confirmation is, pretty high that we're going to break out given what ETH has done right here. Unless Ethereum collapses back inside this range right here, or even this key high, then I would say things are a little bit murky. But I think, it should be fine for Bitcoin. I'm not seeing anything, whether it's from a RSI perspective, on balance volume, which are, the money flows, they're ticking up as well. Things look fine to me. And then on top of that, we held up this monthly open area pretty well. We climbed up above the weekly open area and we're holding it as support. These are all the right signs that you want to see before the market actually starts breaking up and out. Now, again, if we collapse back inside the weekly open or start heading down further, that may not be good. Okay, so let's hope, from here we start seeing continuation to the upside soon, because that's exactly what we need. We just need, pressure up, and then we should start breaking out. Now, if we're looking for targets for, say, ETH, right, from a daily perspective, Okay, the way I see it, I've got this big target. Let me see here. If we go on a weekly basis, all right. Okay, so from a weekly basis, okay, if we look at this chart, ETH should be getting to from here $480. That's how I see the next big resistance level. Okay, there's really nothing in the way between where we are right now and 480 bucks for ETH. You know, that's technically the key resistance high. And when I mean 480, like I think it's a big zone, so it could be like, I don't know, 475, it could be 495, maybe even a wick into 500. So it's not really, I'm not really saying that we're going to hit this, you know, marker exactly on the dot. Um, rarely do prices kind of do, you know, exact pinpoint markers. Okay, so that's the first target I'm looking for. And then beyond that, if we get past that, then we should be looking up here, which is this key high around 787, let's just say $800. But again, you got to get past this, you know, 480 zone. Okay, and obviously if that happens, you know, for Bitcoin in terms of that same correlation, we should be looking for, you know, 15,000, 16,000 and beyond. All right. I wrote a pretty long post for my Advantage members, you know, basically back here as I was kind of looking at the market yesterday, and I was mentioning how it looks like, you know, the market looked a bit toppy, especially from the DeFi perspective. And, you know, the fact that BTC and ETH were also in precarious areas of support, what that told me was, you know, I needed to start maybe trimming down on my positions in the DeFi market or even just altcoins. And that's kind of exactly what we did. So basically, you know, when it comes to Link, which is one of my big positions, you know, I trimmed down on Link way the heck up here around like $17 and some change. And, you know, you could see, right, as Bitcoin kind of moved up, Link started to break down. And personally, I think it's going to break down further, probably into like the $15 and $14, maybe even lower. But excuse me, for now, that's kind of what I see. All right, take a sip of water here. Okay, so the correlation that I told y'all before, again, you know, is Bitcoin moves, in my opinion, with ETH and some big caps. Okay, there are certain correlated altcoins that move with Bitcoin. Then there's, you know, the sub segment within altcoins, which are the DeFi coins or the newer sort of brand of altcoins, like Link and Tezos and Band. And all these, you know, new coins that are coming out, like SRM, right? You guys know SRM Serum that came out recently. All these new coins, I think I wouldn't necessarily say that they completely benefit from Bitcoin pushing up. In fact, I would say the opposite is true, that when Bitcoin pushes up, maybe it takes away the strength because think of it like money flows, right? If people feel safer, if the bots and algos are targeted towards bringing up Bitcoin or pushing Bitcoin and ETH, well, the money flows are going to exit things like SRM, things like Link, because, you know, you need more asset, you need more money headed towards that. And people also, generally, they follow the momentum, right? They follow where exactly the market is going. And so if Bitcoin and ETH are breaking out and Link was just kind of moving sideways or grinding down, well, then they're going to jump out of Link, which pushes Link down further, and then jump into Bitcoin, which pushes Bitcoin further up. Okay. But the way I see Serum, just because, you know, we're on it right now, there's not a whole lot of history, but I told, you know, my Advantage members that if Serum actually holds this key high right here, or this SR level, personally, I think it could go back into price discovery mode. You know, it could easily go back up to, I don't know, $2.50, $3. I don't really know how high it's going to go. I'm just guessing. But again, you know, price discovery means price discovery. Like, you don't really know how high it's going to go. So I'm just taking a guess, not, you know, financial advice. But, you know, if you were simply kind of looking at it from this perspective, where you saw this mini retrace right here, right? Well, we hit the 1.618, and then you could start looking at these other fibs as targets. Sometimes when you don't really know pivot levels, you don't have enough history on an asset, all I really do is I just do fib extensions. And then I just see, okay, well, where are the fib extensions showing me where price could go to? Whether you do it from this high to this low, or you do from this key high to this key low right here, you know, they give you some sort of meaningful targets based on what's happened in the price action. All right. So make sure you keep that in mind. Let me check out something else. Let's check out Tezos. Right. Here's another thing that I want to show you about Tezos. Okay. While Bitcoin started to, you know, push up like this, you could see Tezos started to grind down. Again, this adds more credence to, you know, my theory about how the rotations in the market works, where Bitcoin and ETH and major altcoins go up, things like Tezos and Link, the other DeFi coins grind down. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to break down and, you know, dump like 20, 30, 40%. But I think in situations where Bitcoin is pushing up, I think these do sort of grind down maybe 5%, maybe 10% or so. In situations where Bitcoin actually dumps, I think everything dumps, right? I mean, there's no sort of nothing you can hide behind in terms of an asset, you know, other than stable coins, right? Everything will dump. Like altcoins like ETH will probably dump twice as hard. Link and Tezos and all the DeFi coins will also dump twice as hard. That's just how it is. Okay. So this is kind of my theory, and, you know, the kind of edge that I personally think that I have developed in the market. And this is what helped me actually get out early while Bitcoin was kind of grinding right here and looked like it was going to break up. That helped me exit out of some of my Link position, exit out of some of my Tezos position. So yeah, let me see here. Bitcoin dominance, again, dominance is going down. This, you know, for the longer haul of things, this kind of bodes well for altcoins, because as you see dominance going down, technically, you know, altcoins are actually sucking in more of that more of that market cap and more of the dominance, if you will, right? Because it's effectively saying that, yes, Bitcoin price could go up, but Bitcoin doesn't have the same sort of dominance on the market cap or the market share of the overall crypto market. That means money is actually also going significantly into altcoins. All right. And I think, you know, one of my major focuses for altcoins are coins like Tezos and Link, maybe, you know, even Ethereum. You can even go on this CoinMarketCap website and go look up DeFi coins right here. And there's a ton of them, you know. A lot of them are pretty significant coins with good projects behind them. A lot of them I don't really know about, but, you know, some of them definitely may not be worth your time, but it, you know, should be something that you should be looking into, because this is one of those spaces where I think it's developing in such a way that it's almost analogous to what happened in the 2017 ICO bubble. Okay, so if you want opportunities like that, you need to be looking over here. This is where the money flows are going into. This market cap maybe a month or 2 months ago was less than, you know, I think 50 or $100 million. Now I think it's, you know, a couple billion. Okay, so you can see money actually will gravitate towards things that are really popping off and breaking out. That's just how fast things happen. Okay, so make sure y'all do your research, right? Again, none of what I provide is financial advice, but if you guys are interested in joining our Advantage community, the link is below, the Discord link is below. You know, I have these kinds of posts and updates for my Advantage members every single day. Advantage membership, guys, is nothing but paid membership, okay? If you want access to all these locked channels, access to the kind of trades that we're taking, everything that you and I talk about in these free videos, this has been mentioned to our Advantage members, you know, day or days before, okay? Obviously, I'm not going to tell you guys exactly what positions we're taking in the market, but sometimes I give out free trades, okay? But most of the time, most of my time and energy goes to my Advantage members, which are all these locked channels that you see. And we're pretty active as a community, right? You can see right here, tons of sort of information put out into the channels. Everybody's pretty open to conversations with their own analysis, own way of looking at the market, and people from different parts of the world, whether it's Australia or South Africa or Netherlands or India, Mexico, Argentina. So, and obviously America as well. We have a ton of members from the US, and then same thing in altcoins, right? So tons of obviously information going on right here. So if you do want to join, the link is below. All right, we have our new website up, www.thealphatrace.com. Check it out. But until then, I'll catch y'all soon. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoy our content. All right, cheers and have a good rest of your Friday.